Hello guys, welcome to computerlabspace. In the last video, we discussed about this program 6 requirement and basics of XML and JSON, how to write XML, how to construct JSON object and all. In this session, we will try to create this UI. Okay, this is the screen 1, this is the screen 2, and when we click these two buttons it should redirect to the next screen. Okay, quickly we will jump into the creation of the new project for this program 6, and we will create the UI. Okay, let's start. So I'll have the new project and empty activity. Next, I'll name this as the parse XML and JSON. Okay, sorry, parse XML and JSON program 6. This is my project name. This is the package name, com.example dot this one. So I'll rename this as the com dot computer lab space dot the program name. This is the location. I'm using Java, and minimum SDK should be API 21. I'm defining. Okay, finish. So by default, guys, so by default the main activity will be there, and if you go to activity underscore main.xml, we will have the text view with allow hold. Okay, we will wait for some time, it has to complete, so then only we can start coding. So meanwhile guys, please do subscribe to our channel and like the videos if you really liked it, and share with your families and friends. Once the initial Gradle build is complete, we can see this project structure and main activity.java class and everything. Okay, now we will get started with the actual UI implementation. First we will start with the screen 1, parsing XML and JSON data with the 2 buttons. So I'll go to activity main.xml. So I'll zoom it a little bit. So when we create a fresh project, we will be having this hello world text view. I'll delete that. So I'll drag and drop this text view. So anyhow, this will be the text, right? This is the label kind of thing. So I'll be using this text view component. Okay, and I'll give this, I'll rename this to parsing XML and JSON data. Okay, and ID will be main underscore header underscore ID. Okay, refactor. I'll do the alignment, vertical alignment and horizontal alignment, and I'll place it at the top. Now I'll increase the size of the header. For that, if you scroll in the attributes section to the down, so we will see size, text size. Let me see, where is that? Where is that text size? Otherwise we can search. size, yeah, text size. I'll make it 20. Okay, parsing XML and JSON data. What is the requirement? Parsing XML and JSON data with 2 buttons. So now I will drag and drop the button. So this button text will be parse XML data. Parse XML data. Okay, and it is printing all caps. For that we have to disable that option, caps. I'll search with caps. Okay, if you see text all caps, it is true. I'll uncheck this. Okay, if you see whatever we type parse XML data, in the same way it will print in the UI. Okay, now I'll change the ID. ID will be, this is the main activity, main underscore XML parse XML button ID. Click on refactor. I will align this vertically and also horizontally, and I'll place it here. Okay, and in the similar way we will create another button for parse JSON data. Parse JSON data. Okay, this will be the ID main underscore parse underscore JSON ID. Refactor, and I'll align vertically and also horizontally, and I'll place it here. And same, it is printing or displaying in all caps. I'll make it a camel case or whatever we typed here. In the similar way it should print. If you search with caps, okay, so we are done. The first screen is ready. Header with parsing XML and JSON data has a label, and we have 2 buttons. And we will create next screen. In the next screen, okay, before jumping into next screen, we should get the reference of these 2 buttons. Okay, so I'll have the 2 buttons. Button with the name parse XML button, parse JSON button. Okay, I have 2 buttons. I should get the reference for those 2 buttons. Parse XML button is equal to find view by id r.id dot main parse XML button ID. Okay, and parse JSON and find view r.id dot main parse JSON ID. Okay, and we have to typecast to button. So okay, we got the reference, and now we will jump into the next UI. Okay, in the next UI, similar, we will have the header parsing XML and JSON data. For this new UI or the second UI, we have to create the another activity. Okay, let's create another activity. New activity, empty activity. Okay, So here I'll name it as view data activity. Okay, source language Java main. Okay, fine. The layout name will be activity underscore view underscore data. Finish. So we can see view data activity, and if you go to resource folder, and under resource folder we will be having layout folder. Under that we will be having this activity view dot xml. Here we will create the second UI. Okay, we will create the header first. I dragged and drop into this workspace text view. Align this horizontally and vertically. I'll rename this to parsing XML and JSON data, and ID will be view activity view underscore header underscore ID. Refactor. Okay, now we will have the two sub labels or two subheaders. So again drag and drop this text view, rename this to XML data, XML data, and ID will be view underscore XML underscore label underscore ID. Okay, and I will increase this header size to 20. Okay, fine. XML data, I will increase this to 60. Okay, and I will have another text view for JSON data. JSON data, and I'll have the ID as view underscore JSON underscore label underscore ID. Refactor. I'll align vertically and horizontally. Okay, XML data, and this size also I will increase. Size 16. I'll make it 16. Okay, and align this also vertically and horizontally. Okay, fine. Now we should have a separate section to display XML data and JSON data, right? For that we will consider text view. Okay, so we will drag and drop another text view, and for this we will keep the name as view underscore XML underscore content underscore ID, because this is the content what we are displaying here. And the text view, okay, and the I'll rename this as the XML content. So this is the dummy text. Okay, so when we are actually parsing the XML and displaying here, that actual data we can see. So till that we will see this XML content. So in the similar way, I will have JSON content text view. JSON content, and the ID will be view underscore JSON underscore content underscore ID. Okay, now I will align this to this XML data and vertically. This text view also we will okay, we are done. Okay, so header, two subheaders, XML data, JSON data, and we have the placeholder for the XML data and the JSON data. Now we have to get the reference of these two text view, right? Okay, we will get it in the view data activity. So text view, right? Text view, XML content text view, and JSON content text view. Okay, I'll get the reference here. XML content view, text view, find by view ID r.id dot view XML content ID. Okay, in the similar way, JSON content text view equal to find view by ID r.id dot view JSON content ID. Okay, and typecast to text view. Okay, so we got the reference. So now we will see how it looks in the UI. We will run the app and we will see. Okay, fine then. So what happened? Okay, run app. I'm running the app. We have to wait for some time until it launches the app. Okay, we can see this message, launch succeeded. Now we will see how it looks in the UI. Okay, cool. We have the application name, Parse XML and JSON program 6, and this is the actual UI what we have created. This is the UI 1, parsing XML and JSON data with 2 buttons. Okay, now the thing is, when we click on these 2 buttons, it should redirect to second UI, right? That we will do now. I'll minimize this. I'll go to main activity. For that, whenever we click on button, we need someone to handle those events, right? So we will implement on click listener. Okay, on click listener. When we implement on click listener, we have to override the on click method. Okay, implement method. Okay, now here, so we will get the whenever we click the button, we will get that reference here. Okay, so we have to check the condition view dot equals of parse XML button or not. If that is, if we click on the XML button, so it will come in the if condition. If not, I'll have one more else if, and I'll check whether the clicked button is JSON button or not. Parse JSON button. Okay, now we identified two different button event. So now what should happen is, when we click on either of two buttons, it should redirect to new UI. So that means new activity what we have created, view data activity. For that we have to use the intent class or intent object. So the intent will act like a broadcaster. Okay, it will broadcast the message to the broadcast receiver. Okay, so now what I will do, I'll have the new intent. Okay, for this intent we have to pass the two parameters. One is the source and the another is the destination. Okay, if you see here, new intent, let me see this, comma, view data activity dot class. Okay, so this is my intent. So what I'm telling, from this activity broadcast the message to view data activity. Okay, so now I'll actually pass the message intent dot put extra. Okay, now here, so this will be the name and the value. I'll keep the name as data type, whether it's XML or JSON. So this is XML. When we click the parse XML button, the data type will be XML. In the similar way, I will have in the else if condition also, it will be JSON. Okay, and when we create the intent and add some data into that, we have to start the activity. Intent dot start start activity, and pass that intent. Okay, so what it means is, it will start the activity and pass the message to the broadcast receiver. And who is the broadcast receiver? This view data activity dot class. Now here what we will do, we will get the intent, get intent dot, we will see. Okay, we will first receive the intent. We got the intent here. Okay, from this intent we will extract the data. Okay, we will see how to extract the data. Get string extra. Okay, and the name will be data type. Okay, I'll assign this to variable string data type. Okay, I'll get the value as either XML or JSON. Based on this data type, we will parse the XML or JSON. Now I'll check if data type is XML or not, or JSON. Else if data type dot equals of XML. In else if condition, we have to check for JSON. If it is XML, so what I will do, I have the reference to these two section, XML content text view and the JSON content text view. I'll just add a couple of text to verify. I'll do set text and I'll add test XML parsed content. In the similar way, I'll add for JSON content text view test JSON parsed content. Okay, now almost it is done. Now what it will do, when we click either parse XML data or parse JSON data, it should come to this view, and if we click parse XML data, here we will see test parsed XML content. If we clicked on JSON button, it will display test JSON content. Okay, we will start and we will see how it will look in the UI. It's launching the app. We have not seen the second UI. That second UI we will see now. So I'm opening the emulator. What happened? We will okay, parse XML data. If I click parse XML data, what is happening? So nothing is happening. File error, access recent directory. Okay, something different error. What we will do, we will switch off this emulator. I think it is still running. We will apply changes and restart activity. Okay, it is restarting again. Okay, reinstall and restart app. Okay, okay, launching successful. Let us see whether it will work or not. Parse XML data. Okay, no, it is not working. Something is happening. So I think something we have missed. No error. I don't see any error. That means our data is not reflecting in the new build. I got it, guys. The problem here is, so we have implemented on-click listener, but we have not added those listeners to these two buttons. We will add those. Parse XML button dot set on-click listener. This parse dot set on-click listener. This. So what we are doing here is, we are setting an listener for these two buttons. Those listener present in this class. That is, we are implementing here on-click listener, and we are overriding the on-click method. Now we will see. Apply changes and restart activity. It's launching the app. Okay, it's done. Okay, when we click parse XML data, yes, see here, test XML parsed content. Okay, we are seeing the second UI with header, two subheaders, and the section for the XML data and the JSON data. So I have clicked on XML button, so I am seeing test XML parse content. Now I'll go back and I'll click on parse JSON data. Okay, see here, test JSON parse content. Okay, it is going outside of the screen. We will correct this. So I'll minimize this emulator. So this one I'll put it little bit left. Apply and restart the activity. I'll open the emulator. We'll see. Okay, done. Yeah, if you see here, now it is displaying a little bit left. Yeah, that's fine then. We are good. So that's it guys for this session. So in the next session, we will see how to display the actual parsed XML data or JSON data in this section. This is just for the UI we designed. In the next class, we will just parse the actual XML content from the file, XML file, and we'll parse the JSON data from the JSON file and display in the UI. In the next section, we will see that. So till that, you guys can practice this and go through the previous videos. So I'll be giving those links in the description box. If you have any queries, please put it in comment section. We will check it out. And finally, as usual, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with your friends and families. Thank you all. Bye bye.